Well, y'all, we are on day 67 of this story. We're in the New Testament, and we have just found that some shepherds had got a signal. It said, in fact, this will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in clothes and lying in a manger. Suddenly a great company of heavenly hosts appeared with the angel, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those whom his favor rests. When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, Let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about. So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in a manger. How about that? When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told to them about this child, and all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things they had heard and seen, which were just as they had been told. Joseph and Mary decided to remain in Bethlehem after Jesus was born. Faithful to the law of Moses, they had Jesus circumcised when he was 8 days old. Then the family went to Jerusalem, where they were greeted by two older saints, Simeon and Anna, to whom God gave the opportunity to see and recognize the Messiah before the end of their days, and these wouldn't be the last individuals to discern the special nature of the child Jesus. A little bit special, huh? After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him. Then King Herod heard this, or when King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. Where was he to be born, he says. And they say, In Bethlehem in Judea, they replied, for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, Judea, man, y'all, I don't know. That don't look like a full Judea, but I'm pretty sure that's where it was. It looks actually to me kind of like just Judah. But anyway, are by no means least, it says, but you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, are by no means least among the rulers of Judea, for out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. There's just different ways they say it. That one just, that word don't look like it should be, but maybe it is. Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so that I may go and worship him. After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was born. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. That one definitely don't look like it should be. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. When they had gone, and the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. "Get up," he said. "Take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." So he got up and took the child and his mother during the night and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod. And so was fulfilled what the Lord had said through the prophet, "Out of Egypt I called my son." When Herod realized what he had been that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious, and he gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity who were 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time that he had learned from the Magi. Then what was said through the prophet Jeremiah was fulfilled. Now, before we get to that, y'all, they went to Egypt. Think about the amount of times in this Bible people escaped to Egypt or were somehow stuck in Egypt, and the amount of times they came out of Egypt. And here again, we have the greatest miracle the world has ever seen, God being born in a human body and going to Egypt and going to come back out of Egypt. There's got to be some significance there, right? You know what I'm saying, y'all? So the prophet Jeremiah said this stuff about that very thing. He said, "A voice is heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children and refusing to be comforted because they are no more." Think about that. So they took these magi who had seen this star 2 years to get there. We got a couple scenarios we could run through our heads. One of those is it took 2 years to get there. The other scenario is they saw the star, they got on their Xbox and were playing Minecraft for 2 years and then said, "Hey, we ought to go see that thing." Why? Well, because, we're kind of bored of Minecraft now. Might as well go see it, right? Dude, I think they were a ways away, and it took them a minute. I think it took them a minute to get there, to do what they needed to do. Awesome. But the point was, they knew what the star was saying. Who was they talking to that gave them that idea that that was the star? Come on. Big man up top. He said, "Hey, I'm giving them my son. Come see. Come and see." So anyway, after Herod died, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph and in Egypt and said, "Get up and take the child and his mother and go to the land of Israel, for those who were trying to take the child's life are dead." So he got up and took the child and his mother and went to the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus, these words, was reigning in Judah in place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. Having been warned in a dream, he withdrew to the district of Galilee, and he went and lived in a town called Nazareth. Nothing more is known about the boy Jesus until he appears in Jerusalem at age 12. Most likely he learned carpentry skills as a youngster from Joseph and studied in the synagogue. His mind grew strong along with his body and soul. While he's still a youth, his agile mind was ready to engage in discussion with synagogue leaders. One time Jesus became so engrossed in learning and questioning that he lost track of time. Didn't lose track of time. That's what they said in this thing. But Jesus knew what he was doing. He was ready. And you got to think, all these people saying all this stuff that was the case, people already forgot him by age 12? Nah. He knew what he was doing, and they knew he was about. He was out and about. Every year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the festival of the Passover. When he was 12 years old, they went up to the festival according to the custom. Now just keep in mind, Jesus celebrated the Passover. Y'all could too. we could go live in a tent. Or we could go do a lot of crazy stuff, like eat bread that somebody forgot to raise because it wasn't leavened. That just means it didn't have that wonderful yeast in it. Might be yummy still. Could be yummy still. I ain't going to say it wasn't yummy still. I just don't know. After the festival was over, while his parents were returning home, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem, but they were unaware of it. Thinking he was in their company, they traveled on for a day. Imagine this. God has entrusted you with his very son, and you forget him when you go on a vacation? It's like a Joe Dirt scene. Where's Jesus? I thought you had Jesus. I didn't have Jesus. How did we not look for Jesus? It's a big deal. He's Jesus. We all know he's Jesus. Come on. Well, actually, so they're gone for a whole day. They're a day away. They got to go a day back. Then they began looking for him among their relatives and friends. When they did not find him, they went back to Jerusalem to look for him. Well, where was the last place you had Jesus? In Jerusalem. Well, let's get back there. Maybe he's next to the car keys. After 3 days, they found him in the temple courts, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. You didn't lose track of time for 3 days, couple hours maybe, when you had to sleep and then wake back up and then go back to sleep and then wake back up. You knew it was going. Don't tell me Jesus lost track of time. He knew what he was doing, and he was doing it to do it. That's the point. But they found him there listening and asking them questions. Everyone who heard him was amazed at his understanding and his answers. When his parents saw him, they were astonished. His mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us like this? Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." Jesus is like, my father knew where I was. By golly, he knew where I was. But my Father in heaven. "Why were you searching for me?" he asked. "Didn't you know I had to be in my father's house?" Told you his father knew where he was. But they did not understand what he was saying to them. Then he went down to Nazareth with them and was obedient to them. But his mother treasured all these things in her heart. And Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. Who was this Jesus? A new prophet? A scholar destined to be a great rabbi? Perhaps a political leader with the charisma to finally send the oppressive Roman armies who controlled Judea? Y'all, that is Judea. That means it was definitely Judah before, because now I got to have words to compare it to, but I'm sure that's Judea right there. So then we was just in Judah before. Back across the sea. None of these expectations turned out to describe him adequately. In fact, Jesus defied expectations as the people watched and wondered. Let them watch and wonder. Y'all here, I got some stuff I got to show you. Some pages with some stuff that is the genealogy of the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. There we go, y'all. See all these names? Yeah. I mean, come on, y'all. Do you like reading all them names? Ooh. There it ends. Mary was the mother of Jesus, who was called the Messiah. Man, y'all, I ain't reading them whole family. I could, but I ain't. No, let's just not. Because we know we start out with this wonderful thing where Abraham was the father of Isaac, and Isaac was the father of Jacob, and Jacob was the father of Judah, and his brother, Judah, the father, and his brothers, and Judah, the father of Perez, and Zara, and whose mother was Tamar, and Perez was the father of Hezron, and Hezron was the father of Ram, and Ram was the father of Aminadab, and Aminadab was the father of Solomon, and Solomon was the father of Boaz, whose mother was Rahab. Boaz was the father of Obed, whose mother was Ruth. Obed was the father of Jesse, and Jesse was the father of King David. And David was the father of Solomon, whose mother had been Uriah's wife. And Solomon was the father of Rehoboam, and Rehoboam was the father of Abijah, and Abijah was the father of Asa, and Asa was the father of Josaphat, and Josaphat was the father of Jehoram, and Jehoram was the father of Uzziah, and Uzziah was the father of Jotham, and Jotham was Jotham was the father of Ahaz, and Ahaz was the father of Hezekiah, and Hezekiah was the father of Manasseh, and Manasseh was the father of Amon, and Amon was the father of Josiah, and Josiah was the father of Jeconiah, and his brothers at the time of the exile to Babylon. After the exile to Babylon, Jeconiah was the father of Shealtiel. Shealtiel was the father of Zerubbabel. Zerubbabel was the father of Abiud. Abiud was the father of Eliakim. Eliakim Eliakim was the father of Azor. Azor was the father of Zodak. Zodak was the father of Achim. Achim was the father of Eliud. Eliud was the father of Eleazar. Eleazar was the father of Mathan. Mathan was the father of Jacob. Jacob was the father of Joseph. Joseph, the husband of Mary. And Mary was the mother of Jesus, who is called the Messiah. Okay, we read it, y'all. Got us done with 22. Went a little long, just like always. But we read it. Why do you care? Because there's some really important names in there. And some of the story of Jesus, I'm going to go a little bit longer, just a little bit. Because some of the story of Jesus is they didn't use the hoity-toity people. Sure, King David was hoity-toity. It was hoity-toity David. He came from a simple beginning, but he got hoity-toity. But they still used his adulterous affair with a lady he killed the husband of just to be able to have it, to bring about Jesus. And that ain't all. I mean, throughout there, you look and you're like, look at these people. These weren't the people that if we were going to make the story, we would have made, right? It encompasses the least of these with all of those. And that's good. We want that. Because that's what's amazing about Jesus. He came for the least of these, for all of these. He left the chosen to get the lost. Come on, y'all. That is great. So I love y'all. Jesus loves y'all. I hope y'all are having a blessed day. And we will see you on day 68. Love y'all. Bye.